We're in the first book, and we're learning the laws of character building. Chapter 6. Oops. It is natural for man's character and actions to be influenced by his friends and associates, and for him to follow the local norms of behavior. Therefore, he should associate with the righteous and be constantly in the company of the wise, so as to learn from their deeds. Conversely, he should keep away from the wicked who walk in darkness, so as not to learn from their deeds. This is implied by Solomon's statement, King Solomon. He who walks with the wise will become wise, while he who associates with fools will suffer. Similarly, in Psalms it says, happy is the man who has not followed the advice of the wicked. A person who lives in a place where the norms of behavior are evil and the inhabitants do not follow the straight path should move to a place where people are righteous and follow the ways of the good. So folks say everybody has to move to Montreal. Yeah, I mean, around the corner here. In all places with which he is familiar and which he hears reports follow improper paths, as in our times, almost 900 years ago, or if he is unable to move to a place where the patterns of behavior are proper because of the presence of bands of raiding troops, or for health reasons, he should remain alone in seclusion. As it says, let him sit alone and be silent. If they are wicked and sinful, do not allow him to reside there unless he mingle with them and follow their evil behavior. You should go out to the caves, thickets, and deserts rather than follow the paths of sinners. Wow. Who will give me a lodging place for wayfarers in the desert? Jeremiah said. Psh, wow. That's how important it is, even though it's so important to be with people, but to be with wicked people, no. Unless you're Chabad, by the way. Because a Chabad goes to a place where there's people that are wicked. And guess what? They make them into Bali Tshuva. They bring them back to the path. That's what we're here, right? To transform those to those. So you have people that are living in places like, okay, I live in Montreal. There's a big Chabad community. And Chabad schools, and there's a great infrastructure. So I'm not a real testament, but people who live, someone who lives in Alaska, there isn't a Chabad community there. There isn't. Your kids are going to play with kids that have the same values as yours. Not at all. Yet, Chabad rabbi and their family are there. Why? Because they have the strength to go into that dark place in order to transform it, because that's what they're going there for. If they're going there to be part of the community on their terms, that's what Rambam is speaking about. It's a positive commandment to cleave unto the wise and their disciples in order to learn from their deeds. As it states, and you will cling to him. Our sages question the nature of this command, for is it possible for man to cling to the divine presence? They resolve that the difficulty explaining the commandment means cleave unto the wise and their disciples. And through that, you'll be able to cleave to God. Therefore, one should try to marry a daughter of a Torah sage and marry his daughter to a Torah sage. Eat, drink with sages, do business on behalf of the sages, and associate with them in all possible ways. As it states, and cling to him, to God. How are we clinging to God? Through the sages. Finally, similarly, our sages have directed us, saying, sit in the dust of their feet and drink their words thirstily. Each man is commanded to love each and every one of Israel as himself. As the verse says, love your fellow man as yourself. Therefore, one should speak the praises of others and show concern for their money, just as he is concerned with his own money and seeks his own honor. Anyone who gains honor through the degradation of his calling does not have a share in the world to come. Loving the convert who has come to nestle under the wings of the Shekhinah fulfills two positive commandments. One that is also included among the fellow men whom it's commanded to love, and another because it says he is a convert, and the Torah says, and you shall love the converts. Thus God has commanded us concerning the love of God and justice. He commanded us concerning loving himself. And you shall love God, your Lord, and the Holy One, blessed be he himself loves converts. So he states, and he loves a convert. Wow. Very powerful. Excuse me. Oh la la. Thus God, number 5. Whoever hates a fellow Jew in his heart, and just in his heart, right? Transgress the Torah prohibition, and do not hate your brother in your heart. One is not liable for lashes for violating for this prohibition because there's no deed involved, right? With this commandment, Scripture warns us only against hating in our hearts. However, a person who beats a colleague or insults him, although he is not permitted to do so, does not violate the prohibition, you shall not hate. Unless it was hate in his heart that he had at the time, right? One second. Interesting. Yeah, separate prohibition of hitting somebody. That's a separate prohibition, right? But by hitting someone, if you didn't do it with hate in your heart, so you don't transgress that, you transgress another. We're going to come to that. When one person wrongs another, the latter should not remain silent and despise him. It states concerning the wicked, and Avram did not speak to Amnon, neither good nor bad, for Avshalom hated Amnon. So not Avram, Avshalom, right? Rather, he commanded to make the matter known and ask him, why did you do this to me? Why did you wrong me regarding this matter? You shall surely admonish your colleague. If afterwards a person who committed the wrong asks his colleague to forgive him, he must do so. A person should not be cruel when forgiving, as implied by, and Abraham prayed to God. Okay, I have to stop here.
Thank you.